What's going on, guys? Oh man, quick update on the hero's journey legal nonsense. I oh god, I just can't can't um the court ruling dropped yesterday right around the end of the day. I think the ruling was likely made earlier. Uh but sounds like Daybreak has won the preliminary injunction, meaning that the hero's journey will likely have to shut down. That is not necessarily a permanent order, but during the process in which the court and the trial would take place, the hero's journey server will need to shut down. Now, there are some parameters around that. As you can see here on this document here, we've got a little thing here where it says within 7 days of issuance of this order, so 7 days from yesterday, uh, basically Daybreak will need to pay $1 million bond. And that is designed to essentially, Daybreak is saying, hey, listen, these guys are doing wrong. But as a result, they could do damage to their business by shutting it down. And so the court, as per case law, must hold Daybreak accountable to damages if by shutting down they incur damages. Theoretically, THJ could win this thing overall. And I know a lot of people think it's black and white and it's really simple, but we're not going to get into all the speculation and legal strategy and what's what. I'll leave that to you, comment lawyers. But the reality is that if THJ were to win, then that money could get allotted to THJ. If Daybreak wins, then that money likely comes back to Daybreak. The other big thing is that once this $1 million is paid, that's it. That's order will be issued. Server will have to come on like offline. There won't be like a day or 2 or 3 or 7 or anything like that they won't have a timeline. The order will be issued and they will have to do as much as they possibly can. Something that's a little weird is some of the wording in here is a little ambiguous, but basically, along with their officers, directors, agents, employees, and all persons or entities acting in active concert or participation with them from developing, distributing, licensing, promoting, or otherwise making available THJ or any other similar software that infringes Daybreak's copyrights, operating the website theheroesjourneymu.com or any other websites used to promote or distribute THJ, maintaining any public or private repositories containing code for THJ, including a github.com, the Heroes Journey EQMU, or any other online repository, operating any server emulation software that enables unauthorized access to Daybreak's EverQuest copyright works, and using the EverQuest mark or confusingly similar variations thereof. I do believe that this is likely going to include the Discord. I think it's very likely they will have to shut down the Discord as a result to this. Pretty much anything and everything. I know I will be taking down some of my videos, specifically the ones that tell you how to install the server. Nothing can be done really, It is what it is. Unfortunately, this is what happens. And this is where we're at. Does this mean that the legal fight is over? No. Does this mean that THJ took a huge hit? Sure. They could sit down. They could be litigating, right now. They could be deciding the future, the fate of this case between their lawyers as we speak right now during the recording of this video. They could be doing that next week. It would be a great time to negotiate because putting Daybreak in a situation where they wouldn't have to come up with $1 million in order to make this all come to fruition would be advantageous. It's probably one of the few bargaining chips that THJ likely has left at this point. Any negotiations will likely be at the behest of Daybreak, as they will be negotiating from the place of power, having won the injunction. And what that means is that basically Daybreak's going to have a lot of freedom to set the guidelines as far as how this works out. Now, many of you probably think I'm talking about this as far as like the future of the server, but the reality is it's very likely, and this is speculation, and I probably should have started with this, but I am not a representation of Daybreak. I'm not a representation of THJ. I am merely discussing. I am not an attorney. I have no legal or otherwise horse in this race. I'm merely reading, reviewing, and utilizing my legal background to try and make sense of some of this. My legal background being that I was a parole officer for many years, and I dealt with quite a bit of legal precedent. So, I don't know. It's not good news. Very sad news. But I do think at this point, there's more to consider than just the server, and that is the 20 or so John Does. That is Kata and Aporia themselves, and really anybody who had anything to do with the back end of things. It's kind of a weird situation because at the end of the day, they're about to enter into essentially the preliminary stages of discovery and things, which means they would be submitting their paperwork as far as, who's who. And at this particular juncture, they would have to name those 20 people. Those 20 people would be entitled to due process in the same way that anybody would. And as a result of that, that would be potentially 20 additional lawsuits. Very, very messy situation. I don't think, and who am I to say? I don't know, but I don't think that Daybreak likely wants to open all of that up. And if they can get what they want out of negotiating without having to rack up a bunch more legal fees and lawyer fees and just essentially shoveling money into the fire, I think they'll do that. I can't imagine a world where they won't do that or they don't want to do that. But who am I? I don't freaking know. There's so many different things that could come out of this. But throughout the paperwork, the court found that it is very likely that THJ infringed copyrights and violated the DMCA. Again, this isn't the final lawsuit result. This is just an order on the injunction. There is still much, much more court that could, but isn't necessarily going to happen. I suspect this is going to end before discovery. I don't think either party really want to go through the discovery process. The THJ used EverQuest's art models interface directly. THJ circumvented login authentication systems to let people play without Daybreak's servers. The court rejected defenses like fair use and estoppel and latches. They found that Daybreak didn't exactly look the other way. So yeah, THJ, once this $1 million is ponied up, THJ is going to have to cease operations immediately, and that includes their website and likely anything attached to their website. I would recommend, if you're a content creator of any sort, I don't mean just videos. I mean, if you created API or other things for this, I do recommend you probably take it down. That's not me telling you to do so. It's just simply, it's probably not a good idea to have it up there. This document, man, let me tell you, it's 30 freaking pages. The court found that basically there's no updates, there's no promotions, so you can't really do anything on behalf of the server, and there's really no workarounds. Revenue will continue to be held in escrow. all evidence should be preserved, so don't go running around deleting things. Um, the lawsuit's still ongoing. Right now, they just can't operate. And, um, right now, as far as today is concerned, the judge is inclined to agree with Daybreak's side, and we just kind of have to wait and see um, if they get to discovery, if more information comes out. I will say that some information within the documents has not necessarily been entirely accurate, and I worry. Well, I mean, a lot of people are going to speculate one way or the other, but at the end of the day, I think that a lot of people are going to see that this is likely to end well before any of the facts really come out, any of the real nitty gritty, any of the real information that people are looking for. I think that it's very likely a lot of this stuff just isn't going to see the light of day. Moving forward, THJ community has to decide, wait and see, pivot, play another game, play other games, follow the court case. I know I'm going to be just posting updates in my Discord. I might be doing future videos depending on what happens. But overall, it's kind of what we got right now. There could be settlement talks. I frankly hope there are settlement talks. I hope that both THJ and Daybreak come to the table and are willing to have discussions. I think that it could be vital in protecting the greater group of people who are involved or who may have done individual things or like did little things with the GitHub. We don't know the names of the 20 John Does, so it's hard to speculate what their involvement may or may not have been, but 20 people, in addition to Kata and Aporia, who could potentially be on the hook. It's not the end of the story, but it's definitely a turning point, It's unfortunate. I'd like to hear what you guys think. I will say, please keep it civil in the comments. While I do appreciate any and all engagement that you guys provide, I don't want derogatory stuff in the comments. I don't want people out there slinging mud and hatred one way or another way. I just think that it's, be civil, be respectful, be responsible, act like adults. It doesn't help anybody when people are out there just kind of crumbing on one another. Just, we all love EverQuest. I don't understand why we have to go out there and poo-poo on each other's versions of the game or how people are involved. There's countless other emulators out there. There's countless other hell, go play live EverQuest. Go play Daybreak. Go play Test Server. Go play whatever you want. Go play something else. I don't know. I haven't even decided what the heck I'm going to do, but I don't know. What do you guys think we should play? What are you guys interested in? Where would you guys plan to go after all this? Let me know down in the comments and consider hitting that like and subscribe. I do love you. This community's great. Can't argue with a single bit of, just it is what it is. And that's what we got. Take it easy. Until next time.